You got scholarship in high school.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
So you're a scholarship baby. High school, undergraduates, and masters. Okay. We have Nyasha with us. Nyasha has an interesting background. Born in Zimbabwe, grew up in Zimbabwe, went to school in Ghana, grandparents from Malawi, now in the United States. This is a true African. She's the real Pan-African. So maybe you introduce yourself by yourself. Let's start with that. How do you introduce yourself? I want you to add Malawi, Ghana, Zimbabwe, United States in the introduction.
Okay, so my name is Nyasha Milans, but I mean, I like my name so much. Like, I don't want any nickname, so Nyasha is fine.
We'll have to give you a nickname.
No, I don't. I've never accepted any nickname. I love my name.
What was the nickname that nearly stuck to your name?
No, there's no nickname that I've stuck to my name. I've always just I don't get the reason why I should be called by a nickname when I like my name.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Nyasha.
So we just go with Nyasha and...
Wait, is it Nyasha or Nyasha?
Nyasha.
Nyasha.
Yes, Nyasha.
Okay. But there's N-Y-A.
Yes, S-H-A.
In my Igbo language, we pronounce the N-Y-A. Nya. Nya.
Yeah, so it's Nyasha.
Nyasha. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think, because of like English and everything, I mispronounce it. It should be Nyasha. That's Shona. So Nyasha, like in that temple. So Nyasha. But of course, like when I'm just like Rasha, I'm like, I'm Nyasha. Yeah. But the actual...
What's the meaning? Do you know?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, what's the meaning?
So Nyasha is a Shona name. It's a very wide, popular name in Zimbabwe. So males, females are called by their name, and it's Shona. And for those of you who don't know what Shona is basically one of the most spoken languages in Zimbabwe, and also one of the most the most predominant ethnicity. About like more than 80% of the population are Shona and speak Shona. So Shona is... So it's a Shona word which translates to grace.
Grace.
Yeah, I think to English, grace is like in the way like I see what it means. I think it's more closer to praise, but you can also it depends with the situation. You can also translate it to mercy.
Okay. I get that. Yeah. So it depends on context. Yeah.
Depending on context, but I think the context that I like the most is grace. Yes, but of course, I mean, like most people have asked me, like, can we call you Grace? When I tell them that my name means Grace, I'm like, no, like just call me Nyasha. Yeah. So
Nyasha, are you done with the introduction?
I just said my name. Yeah. So I am originally from Zimbabwe. I can just I'm a Zimbabwean, a proud Zimbabwean, and I've lived in Zimbabwe all my life. I just was out of Zimbabwe because of my undergraduate that I did in Ghana for 4 years, and because of the pandemic, I also got to live in Zimbabwe for some time as well. So I lived in Ghana for less than 4 years, maybe 3, because of the pandemic. And then soon after my undergraduate in Ashesi, I wanted to further my career, especially like the things that I was interested in, things that I got introduced to during my undergraduate through my research and through my classes. Then I was like, I want to pursue a career that is interdisciplinary, that is focused on communities, but also using engineering methods, science methods of inquiry. So that's when I was drawn to this, like the master's that I'm currently doing, which is in sustainable communities, which is interesting.
What did you do in your bachelor's? What program did you do?
So for my bachelor's, I did electrical engineering.
And now you're doing sustainable communities?
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting. Good combination. An engineer, sustainable communities. I mean, that's a good match.
Yeah, I think Yeah, so I think in a professional world, I'd like to be called, um, you can call me an interdisciplinary scientist, or you can call me an engineer and a social scientist.
Good combination.
Yes.
So you went to Ghana through Mastercard Scholarship.
Yeah,
Tell us a
that
bit
is
about Mastercard. How do you get Mastercard Scholarship for undergraduate studies?
okay. So
You just finished high school, right? And
mm,
then
I had not finished high school.
you were still in high school.
Um, I think so. I think so. Okay, let me track back. So what happened was so that was the fun story I wanted to tell you. So what happened was when I was in, so I am like in Zimbabwe, I'm from a small town called Banket, and so there were no like a lot of like opportunities for me to do sciences that I wanted to pursue for my high school, like for my what people call like in Ghana they call it senior high school. So or in Zimbabwe we call it advanced level or A levels. So I wanted to do sciences basically. So at the school the way I was they didn't offer sciences. So I was lucky that I got a scholarship to be able to do like a STEM scholarship to be able to finance my studies at a good school.
You got scholarship in high school.
Yes,
Interesting.
yes.
So you're a
So
scholarship baby. High school, undergraduates, and masters. Okay.
for my A levels, I was on a scholarship and it afforded me to get a good education. And so I did mathematics, physics, and chemistry. So while I was doing my advanced level, so most people that were in my class, they already did their like form 1 to 4, which is like junior high school at that school. So they were already in the pipeline of leadership. So when we came to do A levels together, they were already like the people were chosen to be like student leadership.
Yeah.
To be in student leadership. So for me, I was nowhere near there because like no one knew me. And then so I saw this application. I don't know how I saw it. I don't remember. So it was to apply to this fellowship. So it's called USAP. And USAP is basically at that time it was a non-profit and it's still a non-profit. So it's a non-profit that essentially helps bright students.
Bright students.
Yes, bright
I
students
like that.
who are high achievers, but in most cases they come from economically disadvantaged families in the sense that maybe they may not be able to get access to a better education because of that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I was like, this is a perfect fit for me. I'm a bright student, I'm a high achiever, even in high school. So, and also I come from a low income family. So this is a perfect opportunity for me. So I applied for it. And I also remember like other people applied for it like from my school, and I was like, obviously they're going to get the scholarship because I think at that time we were using our undergraduate we also submitted like our O-level results, and I think for my case I had like 9 A's and a B.
Out of 10, 9 A's.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I need to sit properly. Who am I talking with? You got 9 A's out of 10.
Yeah, so in my junior high school, I did 10 courses, and when I wrote like the final examinations that are like graded by that are written all over the country, by the national board, I got 9 A's and a B. It was really, what do you call? It was a high achievement. Like I think
it is.
What I mean is it was a high achievement in that because the school where I went to, it was just like a basic school. It was not like we didn't have that much resources. So yeah, it was. I think it also broke the record. Of course, like there were other people who had done that, but I think I was the first female to do that.
Okay, okay.
So from my school, I was the first female.
I see why you
to-
got Mastercard Scholarship. There's no need of telling all this story. Okay, I see why. There's a
So
place it
so
started.
now I was like, oh my god. So even though, so now like, of course I knew like I was bright student, but at that school where I was at that boarding school, people were really bright. Like I felt like I became like invisible because they
Oh,
were
that's
really
good.
bright as well. So when you're talking about like my 9As, almost in our class, we're like 20, 30 students. We had 30 students. I think the lowest had like 8 A's in their O levels. And most people were 10 A's, 11 A's. But the people who I was applying for this opportunity with, they were also like 11 A's, 12 A's. So I was like, no way I'm going to get this opportunity.
I see what you're saying.
Yes. So, and they were like in leadership, like the highest leadership of like student leadership.
Yeah.
I was not part of any of that. Of course, like I was a netball player, but I was nowhere near found like this student leadership. So now when it comes to writing recommendation letters,
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted one of my one like I submitted 2 recommendation letters. So I wanted one of who was like the deputy head who taught like biology. I didn't do biology in my A levels. I like what I said earlier. I did mathematics, physics, and chemistry. So he didn't quite know me. He just know me from maybe from the register and stuff. But so when I asked him to write me, so I went to his office and asked for a recommendation. He was like, I don't know anything about you. And then so he told me to like write a couple points about myself and then put it under his door. So that's what I did. So he ended up
Writing the recommendation.
writing the recommendation. Thank you, Mr. Kumbula.
Okay, wherever you are watching this, thank you.
Thank you.
Because the story started with that too.
Yes. Yes, and what else?
So recommendation played a role. Your brightness and evidence
And
to
there's
your
all my background. Yes. And also I think even though like I was not sure if these like if other students would like I would not get the opportunity before. I think deep down I've always believed in myself.
you believed.
Yes, I've always
I
like
think that's the factor too, believing in oneself.
yes, I've always I think the way I was raised and the way I grew up in an environment where I was nurtured to believe in myself. I was nurtured to yeah, like essentially believe in myself. So I of course like of course everyone has doubts, but I think deep down I knew that I was going to get the opportunity.
Let's talk about your life in Ghana.
Yeah.
Now, you're Zimbabwean.
Yeah.
You moved to Ghana
Mhm.
for bachelor's program. How was that? Was moving from South Africa, right,
Mhm.
to West Africa.
Yeah.
What were the major changes that what was different?
So first of all, this was actually my first time getting out of Zimbabwe when I went to Ghana.
Yeah.
And I mean like I didn't quite like I like growing up I didn't watch like things from West Africa. I was just like in the Southern Africa, so South Africa, Zambia, Malawi. That was my exposure. So when I went to, but of course, like people have their stereotypes about Ghana, so those things I knew about. So when I went to Ghana, I was surprised, like how different and also kind of like similar, but also like I was shocked to see the differences. Like what people eat in West Africa is essentially very different
From what you've
from
always
what we eat in Southern Africa, like very different. And that was interesting. And even the architecture of the buildings,
the building designs and
yeah, the
structures.
building signs is like when you're looking for at homes, especially like it's very different. It's very
Interesting.
different, very different. Um,
How did you cope? Did you get to enjoy the West African food, the Ghanaian food at the end of the day, or you still ate your Southern African meals?
so
How much change happened? Am I talking to a Zimbabwean or a West African?
okay, I so for me, my motto always when I travel to a new place, I try to eat foods from that place as much as I can. So yeah, but also like I have a lot of like anxiety when it comes to trying very like
Different.
foods that I'm used to, like, yeah, because like even like the way the food is saved also plays a role. So you're like, this food is different, and look now, this like how this food is saved is like very different. But I think um I have a lot of foods that I like from Ghana, and I really miss so much.
So, how about the people of Ghana? How do you see the Ghanaians generally? I mean, maybe in comparison to people from Zimbabwe.
Um, I wouldn't say like I wouldn't do a comparison, but I'll just describe like I loved my stay in Ghana, especially I think I made like some good friendships, relationships with the people who used to braid my hair, the taxi drivers, and in general like the other students who
Yeah.
were at my school. Yeah, and I think I have a very
But as a people, do you think Ghanaians are different from Zimbabwe?
Of course, they're different. Of course, they're different.
But me, as I'm from Nigeria, I don't
Culture.
think we're different from Ghanaians.
Yeah, of course, like even from me looking at it afar, like I can see how you guys are the same. So I don't really know why you guys are always on each other's necks.
I mean, Nigeria and Ghana has this social conflict where the Nigerian rice is better than the Ghanaian rice. The Nigerian jollof rice is better than the Ghanaian rice. And you know, right?
Yeah.
The Nigerian rice is better.
I haven't tasted the Nigerian jollof.
You're missing. But you've tested the Ghanaian jollof rice.
Of course.
Okay,
I
then
like
the
it.
Nigerian is remaining. Yeah.
No.
When you taste the Nigerian jollof rice, you understand why Nigerian jollof rice is better.
Okay.
Okay, I see that.
I'm not into that fight.
No, we are dragging you into the fight of Nigeria and Ghana. Okay. So after college in Ghana, you moved back home to Zimbabwe.
Not quite moved back home because I mean I graduated last year in June, and I started my master's here
In August.
in August. But yes, I did
That's
move.
2 months.
Yes, I did move to Zimbabwe.
For 2 months.
I wouldn't say move, but because like of course, yes, I
you went
moved
back
because
home
like
before
literally
coming.
I had to carry all my things back home.
So at what age did you start your college education in Ghana?
I don't remember how old I was, but I know that I finished my what do you call?
College or
I finished
bachelor's
my
or-
high school 18, 19.
So let's say 19.
19, 20.
You moved to Ghana. You stayed in Ghana for 3 years or 4, thereabout. Then, without any major break, you started a master's in the United States. And you also sponsored in the United States on a scholarship.
No, I'm on a scholarship.
Hmm?
No, it's not a scholarship per se.
What do you call it? But you're doing research assistant.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm a sponsored student, but it's not really. Of course, like I think, but I think people here don't call it a scholarship.
I mean, there could be different terms that you can call it. You can call it
Yes, but I'm a
grant, you
funded
can call
student.
it...
Yes, but
That's scholarship. Okay, that's just semantics.
yeah.
So you're
but I'm
here funded student
Yeah,
on
I'm
a
a funded.
scholarship. So do you think you got a scholarship to the United States based on that you're a bright student, based on what you've done? Or why? Why do you think you were funded?
Initially, when I actually was admitted to my program, I didn't have funding.
So how did you get funding?
So what I did was